You'll always be my day one, day zero when I was no one. I'm nothing but myself.
Circulatory system works to transport oxygen and nutrition to our body tissues. This organ system relies on three main things, which is blood, which carry the oxygen and nutrition, blood vessels, which carry the blood, and heart, which pump the blood to keep it moving through the vessels. So now let's take a closer look to the function and structure of the heart. This is our heart. Now if we take a closer look, it consists of 4 chambers. The top chambers are called atria, and individually it is called an atrium. The bottom chambers are called ventricles. Between the chambers and vessels, we will find valves. It prevents the blood from flowing backwards, ensuring that it always flows in the right direction. Now let's take a look at the path the blood takes as it passes through the heart. First, blood flows into the heart by the vena cava and pulmonary vein. From this, it flows through the right atrium and left atrium respectively. Flow from the pulmonary vein has just come from the lungs, and those are oxygenated, while the blood in the vena cava is returning from the loop around the body, so it is deoxygenated. Then, as the two atria contract together, they push the blood into the ventricles, and just instant later, the two ventricles contract and push the blood out into the pulmonary artery, which travels into the lungs, and aorta, which means to the rest of the body. At the same time, the atria will be filled with new blood, and the whole cycle will repeat again and again.
Now we're going to learn about composition of blood. What is blood? Blood is the mixture that can be separated into a yellow liquid that floats above the red liquid. A sample of whole blood that is centrifuged in a centrifugal machine will be separated into two layers that consist of 55% of plasma and 45% of cell components. The function of blood is to carry oxygen and nutrients to the body cell and to remove waste product from the body cells. Let's move to blood plasma component and the main function of each component. First component is water. Water acts as a medium of transportation and a solvent for respiratory gas, ions, digestive products, and excretory substances. There are 90% of water in blood plasma. Next component is plasma proteins. Plasma proteins such as fibrinogen proteins, albumin proteins, and globulin proteins. Fibrinogen proteins involved in blood clotting. Albumin proteins control blood osmotic pressure, while globulin proteins are antibodies that are involved in body defense. Moreover, nutrients like glucose are important for energy, growth, and maintenance of health. Excretory substances such as urea are toxic substances that need to be disposed of from the body. Respiratory gas like oxygen is required in the respiration of cells. Other than that, hormones control physiological activities in the body, while enzymes are involved in the metabolic processes of cells. Let's go to erythrocytes, also known as red blood cells. First thing you should know about erythrocytes is each of them containing a hemoglobin, which is the red pigment that gives blood its red color. Erythrocyte has an elastic plasma membrane. The shape of the cell is biconcave disc shape that enables a large total surface per volume for efficient gases exchange. Erythrocytes doesn't have a nucleus at the mature stage, so that more hemoglobin can be loaded into it. It is produced in the bone marrow of bones, such as the sternum and the ribs. Erythrocytes can live up to 120 days and is destroyed in the liver or lymph through the phagocytosis process. What is the function of erythrocytes? For your information, erythrocytes contains hemoglobin that has the heme group, which consists of iron atom, which is the binding site for oxygen. During gaseous diffusion in human cells, hemoglobin combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin releases oxygen in tissues or cells when the partial pressure of oxygen is low. For your information, for more information about this topic, you can refer to chapter 8.3 gaseous exchange in human, which explain more about partial pressure of oxygen. Next blood type is platelets. Platelets are produced from fragments or scraps of cell cytoplasm that originate from the bone marrow. The lifespan is less than 1 week. Platelets also involved in blood clotting process. Moving on to the leukocyte. First of all, you need to know the function of leukocyte is to fight pathogens. Leukocyte has an irregular shape and not fixed shape. It doesn't contain nucleus and hemoglobin. Leukocyte is produced in the bone marrow and their lifespan is less than 5 days. Leukocyte can diffuse out of the capillary pore and fight pathogenous tissues. Leukocyte is divided into two types, which is granulocytes that contains granules and agranulocyte that has no granules. Granulocytes include neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. Neutrophil has nucleus that made up of 2 or 5 lobes. Neutrophil ingest bacterial cells and dead cells or tissues from wounds by phagocytosis. Eosinophil has nucleus that is made up of 2 lobes. Eosinophil releases enzymes that fight inflammation and allergy reaction. For the basophil, the number of basophil is lowest in the blood. It contains heparin that prevents blood clotting. A granulocyte that has no granules, including lymphocyte and monocyte. A lymphocyte contains a large nucleus with very little cytoplasm. It produces antibodies to destroy bacteria and viruses that enter the body. It can produce antitoxins against toxins that are produced by bacteria or viruses. Monocyte is the biggest leukocyte. It has spherical-shaped nucleus. The function of monocyte is same as the neutrophil, which is ingest bacteria and dead cells or tissues by phagocytosis.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So it's my turn to present. So I would like to present about the human blood vessel. As you can see, human blood vessel has three types, which is artery, blood capillary, and vein. So what is artery? Artery are blood vessel that transport blood out of the heart. So the function of the artery is quickly transport blood at a high pressure up to the tissue. The blood in the artery is under high pressure because of the pumping action of the heart. So the blood moving from the heart with a quick pace